And welcome to the NFL Today on YouTube. JB along with Coach Bill Cowher, Nate Burleson, and Matt Ryan. And I guess we could say the early part of the season, these teams certainly were very much under the radar. The teams I'm talking about, the Jacksonville Jaguars and, of course, the Houston Texans. But check this out. Jaguars have won 5 straight. They're 10-4 now with the spot secured in the playoffs if they continue. Texans, 6 straight. They're 9-2 in the last 11. What's been the key to their turnaround?
Well, I mean, I think, number one, I think you look at Houston, they got healthy. I mean, C.J. Stroud, I think, has started to find his own right now. And, again, you look at what they were able to do when he was out. They were able to win those 3 games, and that was huge. And I think for Jacksonville, I think, to me, the difference is Trevor Lawrence, what he's done in these they've won 6 of their last 7 games, and Liam Cohen has kind of found what they did. The pickup of Jacoby Myers has been huge for them in terms of what he's been able to bring to them from a passing game standpoint. But I think this guy right here has played as well as he's played since he's been down in Jacksonville right now. And ATN's playing, and you know what? They're playing great defense too. They're getting turnovers on defense, and again, both of these teams are teams you don't want to play. You're talking about hot teams at the right time of year. They both exhibit that right now.
Coach, you're spot on, and you mentioned that defense. I don't believe they're getting enough love. I mean, we're going to compliment Trevor Lawrence because he deserves it. But that defense is stepping up big for the squad. I love this offense because they have pass catchers now making plays. You get Brian Thomas Jr. back in the lineup, and then you trade for Jacoby Myers and the running backs. You can give them the traditional in between the tackles, handoffs, but the way that they utilize their backs in the passing game is really a huge element because they're finding these matchups and they are exposing them, whether it's the running backs lined up against linebackers or safeties. And Trevor Lawrence is doing such a good job of deciding where to go with the ball and also taking care of it.
Yeah, I mean, I had written down here the same thing you guys said. Defense, 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 improve quarterback play for both of them. Right. And that's really been the common theme amongst both. When I look at Jacksonville, I don't think it can be understated how big of an impact Liam Cohen has had on Trevor Lawrence. I think you've talked about it, Coach Nate. We've said it as we're sitting here. His last 3 or 4 weeks have been the best stretch of his career. And I think that's starting with a disciplined coaching approach from Liam Cohen of saying, here's the scheme, here are the pieces, here are how we're trying to use these pieces. I want you to play in rhythm. It can't all be play extension. It can't all be off schedule. We've got to start hitting these things. And the Jacoby Myers pickup, like you guys mentioned, the ability to use the middle of the football field, that's something that's a staple of the Los Angeles Rams, which is the coaching tree that Liam Cohen comes from. I think he's starting to piece those things together to allow Trevor Lawrence to have his best come out.
You know what, Matt, and you've elaborated on what the coach has done. Our coach has always said, coaching matters. Yes. Let's take a look at Liam Cohen in the locker room of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Hey, 6 total touchdowns.
I think for the first time, Trevor Lawrence, to me, just listening to him, he feels like the leader of that football team. I feel like there's been a lot of questions around him. We reaching the maximum, and all the different coaches have come and gone. Yeah. Liam Cohen has also allowed him to take ownership over this football team, that being Trevor Lawrence. So I look at him right now, the confidence with which he's playing and the confidence with which he sounds. Because you listen to his press conferences right now, it's not almost about like, well, I can do this or I can do that. He knows where they're at. Yeah. He feels very comfortable with who he is and the skin he's in. And I'll tell you what, it's all of a sudden you can see it starting to kind of penetrate around him. It's starting to bleed down into the rest of this football team. He's got a very balanced football team right now. So, I mean, that kid right now is growing up before our eyes. I know it takes some people sometimes a long time. Yeah. Liam Cohen has had a tremendous impact on him.
But listen, you make a good point, though. He has been criticized for sure. Yeah. And I'm sure I've said, I've questioned whether he's going to be the future of the Jacksonville Jaguars. And I'm sure he has heard all of these things. All the while, you're getting paid all of that money. And with money comes the pressure of delivering week in and week out. And then also being on a team that you know has a chance also plays a role with how you approach it as a leader and as a player and as a quarterback. So give credit where credit is due. Trevor Lawrence is playing, I would say, the best football of his career right now.
Yeah, and I think you talk about it, big contracts for quarterbacks and the investment that an organization makes into that quarterback. Well, you better invest around him, too. And you better go and support him with the pieces that he needs to be supported with. And I think the addition of Liam Cohen on that offensive side of the ball and saying, you know what, we in that building believe Trevor Lawrence is the guy. We're going to try and find the best we can to support around him for the long term. The other thing I love in that video about Liam Cohen, too, is the energy. So there's the offensive scheme, there's the discipline with which he's coaching Trevor, but you're also trying to create a new culture there in Jacksonville. And you can feel that youthful energy and that buzz and that excitement. I think that's infectious to the players.
And it is. I'll tell you who else has that is D'Amico Ryans.
Yes.
You talk about infectious. You look at him in the locker room, and I'll tell you, let's give some credit. You talk about this season for the Houston Texans. Davis Mills doesn't come in and win those 3 games.
Absolutely.
We're not even talking about that.
Absolutely.
So let's talk about Davis Mills on the sideline. He did what he was supposed to do. But this defense, D'Amico Ryans and C.J. Stroud now all of a sudden starting to do it. Woody Marks is coming in here and giving them a little bit of a running game right now. Some young receivers are starting to step up.
Nico Collins making plays every single week.
This is a football team. I watched them against the Kansas City Chiefs when the Kansas City Chiefs were desperate on a Sunday night. And I'll tell you, they went toe-to-toe with them. That is one football team defensively. You're going to get in there, I wouldn't want to play them. I think it's the best defense in football right now, playing at the highest of levels, and they got a quarterback who's starting to feel his oats right now, and they got a running game that goes with that. The Houston Texans, to me, I'll tell you what, you better buckle it up, and you better get a good
you better
week's
buckle it
sleep.
up. Listen, that defense is fast, they are physical, and they believe that they are the best defense in the NFL. You see it when they're out there on the field. They fly around, and then, like you said, that also gives your quarterback confidence. Knowing that I have a defense that is as good as Trevor Lawrence said it a while ago. He said, hey, listen, you trip yourself up, you learn not to trip yourself up, and then you move forward. So he understands, all right, as talented as I am, as talented as I believe this offense is, I can't throw the game away when I have a good defense like I have.
Yeah, and I think one of the other things that's important for the Houston Texans is, you know, what wins in the playoffs? Defense, reliable defense, and pass rushers that can win without having to rush more than 4.
No question.
And they've got a defense where you've got Danielle Hunter and Will Anderson on both sides, and it doesn't require you to pressure. You can play coverage behind that. The other thing I think they got to be sitting there and licking their chops about is that currently right now in the AFC, Joe Burrow's not in the playoffs. Patrick Mahomes isn't in the playoffs. Lamar Jackson's currently not in the playoffs. And you've had Josh Allen's number every time you've played him. This is a scary team that when you look at the AFC playoff picture of a team that can make a run during that 17 tournament of the AFC, they could be scary. They could be very scary.
H-Town, stand up.
So now we understand why Matt Ryan could have well been an attorney as well, too. But you made the point earlier on, Bill talks about self-scouting. That also applies to leadership. D'Amico Ryans, who is a marvelous inspirational leader, step back and he becomes the CEO of things to be able to go wherever the need is. Significant move on the part of the Texans in that regard.
Yeah, listen, at one point it seemed like their season was falling apart. And your leadership has to step up. Coach, you know this. When players are starting to question where they are in the season, they start looking at the scoreboard and looking at other teams and records. All of a sudden, the coach has to come in and say, hey, we're all right. We're good. We're going to get through this. And then we're going to get our quarterback back. Hey, defense, I'm going to need you to hold us down. I'm going to need you to be the best part of our team for the next handful of weeks until offense figures it out. And you can tell D'Amico was not wavering at all at any point this season. When we were all questioning whether the Houston Texans were as good as we said they were before the season, he believed the whole time. And his team did too.
And I think one of the things, and Coach, you could probably speak to this better than anybody on this desk, but as a head coach, you have to be a master problem solver. And I think 2 things were true in that time. D'Amico felt like it was best for him to step back from that play calling role and allow his assistant coaches to go into that. He also had to go over to the offensive side of the ball and say, what we have been doing is not good enough.
Correct.
And we have to spend and invest more time there. And that's what I think great leaders do.
And I think
they figure out what the problem is, and they adapt and they adjust.
Adapt, adjust, and you're constantly tweaking. You're constantly tweaking up until the very last game, which is sitting there and recognizing where you are, staying in the now. Just stay in the now. Just take it from week to week. Don't overthink it. Don't overanalyze it. Just tweak it along the way. Continue to maybe do something a little bit different, but don't lose sight of who your identity is. And this identity of this Houston Texan football team is you're going to have to beat us. We're not going to beat ourselves.
No doubt.
Good luck. Pack your lunch. It's going to be a while.
Bill, we've seen it too many times with other coaches commending you. Let me have you close it out. That all seems to fall under the heading, to me, of controlling the narrative.
Controlling the narrative.
Meaning?
And controlling the narrative and managing your emotions. I think right now, as you get involved with this time of year, is you can get caught up with all the narratives that are coming at you, the finality of what's taking place, all the time we put into it. Managing your emotions, taking it right now, week to week, stay in the now. When you're doing something special, you don't reflect, you don't speculate. You don't ponder what could be. You don't think about what you just did. You stay week to week, constantly tweaking what you're trying to do, staying there focused and understand what your identity is and don't deviate from your identity. Tweak it, a little bit of something here or there. But you know what? We are a tough, physical football team. And you know what? You come to play us, we're not going to beat
Yeah, I know. Hey,
over, man.
Nate starts backing up. Hey, Matt, because our producer, Drew Kaliski, said, hey,
wrap it up.
the chin. No. He said the chin is coming out because he's a Hall of Fame motivator.
That's right.
Hey, folks, and you'll get that and more every Sunday on the NFL Today right here on CBS.